Podcasting from the Chicagoland area, this is Game On with Jackson Stuart, where we discuss men's lifestyle, focusing on sex, fitness, relationships, business, and more. We'll be interviewing the best of the best, the hot shots, and the rising stars in the worlds of modeling, fitness, cooking, and more. Influencers who are discussing keeping it sexy while at the top of their game. I'm your host, Jackson Stuart. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the game. What if you could be a better player for the cost of one more cup of coffee a month? Get access to a growing library of lit erotica, behind-the-scenes action, and player's guides with tips on drinking, cooking, fitness, dating, sex, and life after dark. Low tier rate while offer lasts. Patreon.com, Game On with Jack. Keep it sexy and game on. Good people, sexy people, welcome to another episode of Game On with Jackson Stuart. I'm your host, and as always, I want to welcome you to the show and let you know that I greatly appreciate you taking time to tune in and check out what we got going on. Excuse me, I apologize now. It was my chance to dance with COVID, and my voice is a little, choppy, and my normal seasonal cough is a lot worse, but I'm better. I want to say thank you to all the people that checked in on me, people that knew I was sick. It's rough. It was not fun, but I'm past it. I'm healthy and healthier, and we're going to get to the show. So if you can bear with some audio abnormalities and me not sounding my best and the probably more than often cough or hack, which I'll try not to do that directly into the mic. Stick around, and I think you'll enjoy the show. Some announcements: definitely go to GameOnWithJack.shop. Enroll free for classes and workshops. We have the free Guys Night Out mini workshop available right now, and newly released, there's the Alpha 210 class. All the things that you need to become an alpha male. What is an alpha male? How do you become one? What are the benefits? What are the drawbacks? If you go to GameOnWithJack.shop, you can sign up now. And if you use Alpha 25, ALPHA 25, as a promo code, when you check out, that will give you a discount on the class. So definitely make sure you check out the class, buy the class, and use the promo code so you don't have to pay full price. Sign up for the new Game On with Jackson Stuart email list and receive the free 15 confidence commandments immediately. So as you sign up, you'll get instructions on how to do so. And if you want a smaller but still just as effective and as entertaining and as enlightening, go to patreon.com/GameOnWithJack. You can subscribe to Game On Guides today and start enjoying all that good stuff. So definitely lots of ways for you guys to stay in tune with the game, and not just to stay informed, but these are actually beneficial stuff. Like, I sit down, I look at problems that men face, and I come up with solutions to help you out with those problems, and I make those available. So definitely check them out. Open your feedback. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want more of, less of, etc. And great feedback, too, from the Ask Jack episode last week, I think, or week before. You guys enjoyed it. Really appreciate the feedback. Thanks a lot. Tonight's episode, excuse me. Yeah, I'm going to try a cough drop, which you're probably going to hear me chewing it and snapping on it all the time. But it might alleviate some of that coughing. Ghost of a chance. We're talking about ghosting. And also, if you have not had a chance, I personally would appreciate if you head over to the Game On with Jackson Stuart YouTube channel. The link is on this page, and also if you follow me on Instagram or Twitter, the link is there also. If you subscribe to it, I'd appreciate it. Trying to get to 100 so I can rename the thing. Can't do it without you guys. Greatly appreciate everything you do, all the times you follow it and listen to the podcast. So asking for one more thing, head over to YouTube and make sure that you subscribe. Now, that having been said, talking about ghosting tonight, ghost of a chance. And we're going to talk about what is ghosting, who gets ghosted, why do people get ghosted, and what you can do about it. And reason why discussing this made me think of the YouTube channel is that there's a lot of YouTube shorts about ghosting and some of the basics of it. So you can head over there and you get yourself some useful information, which is what I always try and bring you guys. And that having been said, let's jump into it. So ghosting is excuse me, it seems like it's a recent term, like it's just popped into, mainstream culture lexicon where you're hearing about ghosting. Actually, it goes back, I think to like the year 2000 or the early 2000s, where people kind of started to throw it around. And back then it was more so in terms of, electronic communication and dating apps and online apps, Tinder and Grindr, whatever you were using. And back then it just meant like, you were following somebody on their profile, you guys were talking, and then they just disappeared. Maybe their account was deactivated, like they were just gone, and that's when ghosting popped out. Obviously, it's from the idea of a ghost, either something you don't see, something you don't hear, unless you believe in ghosts, or you've experienced ghosts. Or, like the remnant of something that was once there, like, oh man, that's like a ghost echo, like, wow, something was there, but all of a sudden it's not. So that's where we get the term ghosting. But now, 2022, you hear ghosting in not just electronic communication, but like with people that you actually meet and see face to face, right? So there's that aspect of it, but it still comes down to somebody was talking to you and all of a sudden they're not. And that is where we get the term ghosting from. So, excuse me. Who gets ghosted? Well, it's anybody out there trying in the game, and in this, we're talking about the game of relationships. Now, this also applies to friendships, not just romantic relationships, but friendships, also in terms of early dating, most ghosting happens in the beginning of dating. So anybody out there trying to do the game of relationships, whatever type of relationship it may be. And you got these poor souls out there giving it their best. Those are the people that are eligible to get ghosted. And what does ghosting look like? Well, it's simply a sudden and unexpected, unexplained drop in communication. They were texting you like mad crazy on Monday. All of a sudden it's Thursday and you're not getting anything. Excuse me, there's no text, no calls, no Snapchats, like nothing, like poof. And, you'll notice a drastic change in the pattern, especially if they're communicating with you every day. And all of a sudden, nothing. So they're a ghost, something that was there, something that you were hearing from, and all of a sudden it's not there and you're not hearing from it. When do people ghost people? Well, this tends to happen, it can happen anytime, right? But it tends to happen in the early phases of a relationship. When people are just starting to talk, when things are hot and heavy in terms of regular communication, or it also could be later on in a relationship when communication styles and rhythms are established. Like, this person always texts you good morning or good night. You just have daily conversation with them. All of a sudden things change. So while it tends to happen in the beginning, when you're getting to know somebody, it can happen anytime in a relationship or a friendship. Now, here's the kick. Excuse me, and forgive me if this is a short one-on-one with you guys, but, you don't want to hear me hacking for the whole thing, and I'm sure my voice is going to only allow me to do so much. When do people, what are some examples? Like, how do you know that you're getting ghosted? Like, what does it look like? Well, like I said, silent treatment. Like, boom, out of nowhere, things just go quiet. And it's like, look, life happens. Sometimes, cell phones die. You get into dead spots. Accounts get deactivated. Like, there are going to be times when people who you normally communicate with are not going to be available to talk to you as is normal. And that's fine. But that ghosting is a long a long period of no communication. It's not just like, wow, I didn't talk to you yesterday. Were you okay? Because you're used to talking daily. But all of a sudden it's like 2 days go by, 3 days go by. So, silent treatment, silent platform. They also go quiet on social media. Maybe they blocked you. Maybe you're not getting their posts. Maybe you're not getting their updates. No plans. Like, it's one thing if you're like, hey, Friday, we're going to go out for drinks, we're going to go out dancing, go out see the movies. I'll see you at 6 o'clock. And it's Wednesday. Now, you don't talk to them Thursday. Don't talk to them Friday. But then, 6 o'clock, you're going to meet up. Ghosting is like, not only do they stop talking to you, but there's no plans that you already had set up at all. You get deleted off all their social media. Like, you suddenly can't find them because they blocked you. They avoid you. Let's say you're in the same place. You go to the same school. Maybe you work in the same job. Ooh, I might have to do an episode of dating coworkers. I've done it. Don't do it. That's my personal take on it. But anyway, if you guys have dated coworkers and you're not against it, like maybe it even went bad, but you're still in it, let me know. Hit me up. Send me a message. Send me a message. COVID fog, can't talk. Message through through Podbean and let me know what you guys think. If you've dated somebody at work and it didn't go bad, but you would still do it again, etc. I'm curious about that. But anyway, you guys are in the same place and now this person avoids you. Like, they clearly walk a different direction so they don't have to interact with you. If you guys have meetings or classes together, they, leave before you get a chance to say hi. They show up after you get there. Like, it's very obvious that they're going out of the way to avoid you, not ignore you, but avoid you. Also, a sign you've been ghosted is that if there is any contact, it typically is unavoidable. Like, for example, if you work in the same place or have the same classes, same group or organization, or same bar, whatever it is that you guys are going to bump into each other, you could tell that their interest is greatly diminished, like to the point that they have no interest. It's like, hi, yeah, okay, nice to know you're doing okay, and they take off. So, all of these signs are completely opposite to the way it was in the beginning. It wasn't silent treatment. They were talking to you a lot. They made plans with you. You were invited to all their social media, and they were on yours. They didn't avoid you, and when they did have contact with you, it was very much engaged and excitable. It had energy. Now, there are some signs that you're about to get ghosted. Sometimes you get ghosted and it's like boom out of nowhere, like, oh shit, that just happened. But sometimes it's clear that things are about to go, you're about to give up the ghost, so to speak. Signs, number one, things start getting quiet on social media. Maybe they don't comment on your posts like they used to. And all of these, some people just don't communicate a lot with technology, but face to face they do. Ghosting is like, there's a direct change, and that's what's important. There's a change in things suddenly. Okay, so platforms, there's a change in how they comment, communicate, post. Chatty Cathy is gone. The conversation starts to change. It goes from, oh wow, we talked for like 30 or 40 minutes to now 5 or 10, and you're doing most of the talking. They're like very much my next point. They don't give a damn, or they're half-assed. They don't give a damn. They seem unbothered by you or bothered by you being around. And unbothered is just like, oh, hey, very indifferent, right? Like, oh, hey, you're here. Like, what's going on? Yeah. Like, they don't care if you come or go. Bothered is like, oh, yeah, it's you in this class again or in this meeting again. Like, your presence is now a problem. Thanks but no thanks. That's the fourth sign. Suddenly they don't want to meet up with you as much. They're pulling back. Half-assed, half-hearted. Their text, especially their text, their Snapchats, everything just starts to seem like they're just not in it. There's less wording, there's less emotion, there's less excitement, all that stuff. And last sign that you're about to get ghosted is a kick in the crystal ball. They show no interest in future plans. You come up with ideas for dates or hangouts, and it's always like, let me see, or, ooh, I don't know about that one, and here's a good way. So if you ever invite somebody out and you want to test to see if they're interested in hanging out, hooking up, whatever, give them the idea first, but not the day and the time. Because if you tell somebody, hey, how about we go grab drinks Friday at 6? Apparently Friday at 6 when I do everything. Friday at 6, then they could say, oh, I can't because I got to work late. But if you say, hey, how about we go grab drinks this weekend? They can't say, oh, I got something else going on, because then you've given them like literally 24 to 72 hours of availability. So that's a way to kind of gauge if people are interested. If they're interested but they're busy, they could say, oh, Friday's not going to, this weekend won't work on Friday, but I'm available Saturday. Like, they're showing you interest in engaging with you. So why do people ghost each other? Well, there's a couple reasons. One, tech. Like, we live in a world where it's easy to snap, text, or email things that years ago we would have to say face to face or over the phone. And, it's just a way to communicate with people, just without even a second thought. Like, oh, I gotta get a hold of mom. Let me text her real quick. Oh, I gotta reach my daughter. Let me text her. Or, I gotta reach great grandma. I gotta talk to my best buddy. This is how people interact with each other now with technology. It's part of just who we are. So unfortunately, we especially like to use technology when we're in uncomfortable situations. Like, somebody has to tell you they don't want to talk to you anymore. They don't want to have that talk. And we'll talk about that in a second. We'll get to that point. So they fall back on technology. Another reason why people ghost others is that there's a fear of hurting you. And while that's nice, ghosting somebody is actually worse, and it really just spares the person that wants to get out of the communication from being hurt than it is going to hurt the person that has to, bear the brunt of it. So here's what I mean by that. You're dating Amy. Just pulled the name out of nowhere. So John's dating Amy, and, Amy no longer likes John. She doesn't want to hang out with him anymore. They went on a couple dates, it just didn't click. Amy might be thinking, oh, I really don't want to, hurt John's feelings or, break his heart. So I'm just going to gradually just stop talking to him. Well, what Amy is really doing is sparing herself the uncomfortable conversation of talking to John and breaking things off. She's lying to herself by saying it's for his sake. In reality, it's for her sake. Ghosting puts somebody through a period of hell. It's unknown. And, what if something happening? I mean, things happen to people, and all of a sudden you don't hear from them anymore. So the person you're ghosting or the person being ghosted could feel like, oh my God, it's so-and-so. Okay, I'm worried about them. And then they go through, is it something that they did? And that's not cool. You don't want somebody thinking that they've done something horrible, that they've done something to offend you. And, that's not good. And one thing about ghosting, this is all based off the idea that you didn't do something fucking stupid. You weren't an asshole or a jackass. You offended somebody so much to the point that they don't want to talk to you anymore. Now, ghosting is like, you were cool, but then all of a sudden, they lost interest. Hey, I mean, shit happens. Relationships aren't perfect. And sometimes relationships getting kicked off, to the next level doesn't happen. But people should still communicate and say, hey, look, real talk. Your man Jack had to do this. There was a woman that I went on a blind date with, and we talked on the phone, and I laid some mad game on the phone, because my phone game has always been amazing. Sometimes my face-to-face game is, my phone game has been tight as hell. And we met up, and I didn't like her. I mean, I wasn't a dick. I was a gentleman. We went dancing. We had some food. Later on, it came out that she wanted more. I didn't. But I talked to her on the phone, because she lived a bit of a ways from me, and it was kind of a drive, and she was already planning our next date, next event. And I said, hey, you know what? I had fun with you, but I just want to let you know that I see us more as friends than being anything else. Now, how did that go? I mean, she fucking hated my guts. Excuse me for a hot minute, but she moved on. I mean, next time I saw her, ooh man, next time I saw her, she looked like she wanted to kill me. But she had a guy. And had I dragged it on and and had I ghosted her, that could have messed up the timing of her with this other guy. So fear of hurting you is another reason why people ghost. A low emotional intelligence. That's the third reason. People just don't see what's wrong with it. They don't have that level of emotional development to see that, starving somebody in a communication aspect of a relationship, ghosting somebody is not right. It doesn't click. Sometimes people shut down. Like they're all spun up and they're not sleeping, they're not eating because they have to, tell you it's not going to work. And in the amount of time that they're frantic over like how to quote unquote break it to you, time just passed by and next thing you know, they've ghosted you because it's like 3 or 4 days you haven't heard from them. But they're too overwhelmed to figure out how to tell you it ain't going to work. And lastly, social differences. COVID, social distance. Social differences, especially with different age groups. You could be dating somebody 5 years younger than you, maybe 10 years younger than you, maybe even younger than that. Maybe you're in your 40s or 50s and you're dating somebody in their 20s or 30s. It's just a different generational understanding. So much to the point that they've grown up with the idea that you communicate with technology as much as you communicate verbally or in person. So for them, it's like, it wasn't working, so I just ghosted them. And you're like, that's rude. Nobody does that. Those are social differences. Like you come from two different generations that view technology differently. You remember a time when people just did shit face to face, while they remember times when it was only technology as a key in communicating. So is getting ghosted your fault? No. Getting ghosted is not your fault. And like I said before, we're not talking about you getting dumped because you were an asshole. We're talking about things that they were going fairly well, at least to you. And then boom, you get ghosted. They drop off. In this case, it's not your fault. Things don't work out, like I said before, and that's cool. I mean, it's just the way it is. But people should at least give someone the courtesy of telling them rather than leaving them to guess. So, ghosted, not your fault. If you're thinking about ghosting somebody, you are not a player if you're ghosting people. That is an asshole move. Do not ghost anybody. Just be upfront and just tell them it didn't work. And look, when we're younger, we all have done it. When you're in your teens or 20s and you don't have that emotional reservoir as a man to tell somebody like, oh, it just didn't work out. Yeah, you just don't talk to them as much. It wasn't right, but you were a boy and boys do that. But now you're a man. Now you're a player. You ain't gonna do that anymore. What should you do if you've been ghosted? Well, here's some, your man Jack's got some ideas to help you out here. Number one, make sure it really happened. And what do I mean by that? Reach out one time. Your rhythm of communication has been broken. Like you talk daily, you talk every 2 days, you talk every Wednesday and Friday, whatever. Reach out to them one time. Just make sure something didn't happen because life does happen and, give them the benefit of the doubt. Number two, once you're certain you've been ghosted, face reality. Shit happened. You got ghosted. Live with it. You got to accept it. Which leads me to my next point. Feel shitty. You got to walk through the emotions. Don't be one of these guys like, man, fuck this shit. No, nothing bothers me, dumbass woman. She want to talk to me, I'm over it. No, because that's all bravado. It's not being a true player. You're being a little boy trying to act like nobody can hurt them. Do the thing. Feel like crap. Take a weekend, watch movies, whatever. Talk to your boys, go get a drink, hang out. But Make sure you practice self-care. Take care of yourself. Don't drink a whole 12-pack of beer. Just, give yourself 6, whatever. Whatever your limit is. Jack didn't tell you to get cirrhosis in a weekend. Eat the shitty pizza, whatever. But, excuse me, go for a walk. Get in some exercise. Limit your bender. Say you're back to eating good. You're not overdoing it with drinking. Definitely, no drugs or shit like that. Self-care. Also, at the end of this, no moping. Feel bad, but you gotta get over it. Don't dwell on the event. Because if you get ghosted and you dwell on how bad it made you feel, then that will change your vibe, your energy, who you are, and who people see you are. And that could block you from meeting somebody who's not going to ghost you, somebody who's really going to be into you, somebody who's going to connect with you. Don't chase ghosts. This is a big one. Once you know you've been ghosted because you reached out one time and you verified you're getting ghosted, you're done. They're a ghost. You ain't a ghostbuster. Don't go chasing their asses. That is one of the worst things ever, because all it does is it limits you from healing from getting ghosted. It keeps you in that mode, keeps you in this, well, maybe I didn't get ghosted, or maybe I give them another chance. Nope, they screwed up, move on. Talk with somebody. Getting hardcore ignored can damage your self-esteem and your self-perception. Not only like, oh, I thought I was a cool guy, maybe I'm not as attractive as I think I am, maybe I'm not as funny, whatever, but just also the idea that, did I do something wrong? Did I do something offensive? Like, what is it about me that caused this to happen? It ain't about you. So talk to somebody. Don't just stick yourself up in your house or wherever you are and just with all these thoughts and doubts. Get out with your friends. Talk to somebody, family, somebody who, can really engage with you and give you some real talk. Shit, go talk to a therapist or a mental health counselor. There's nothing wrong with that if you need help to get you over this. Lastly, during this whole process, be careful with isolating yourself. Because when you isolate yourself, it's just you and your thoughts alone. And if you're struggling through this, through this moment, you're going to need some external force to reach in and pull you out of it. A friend, a therapist, a family member, someone who cares about you can, kind of get you through it. And we've all gone through tough shit. I've been ghosted before. It ain't fun. So I'm not talking like, oh, from this standpoint, I don't know what it is. It hurts. And it gives you self-doubts about who you are and what you bring to the table. And, it takes some work to get through it. So, good people, sex people, that wraps up the show. Thank you so much for tuning in, for putting up with my my congested, coughing, raggedy ass. Excuse me. Want to remind you real quick, GameOnWithJack.shop. The alpha class is out. It's available. I think you'll enjoy it. I think you'll take a lot from it. Alpha 25 is a promo code. Give you a discount. GameOnWithJack.shop. Sign up for the Game On with Jackson Stuart email list. That's at GameOnWithJack.aweb. AWEB is in boy.page. Hit me up on patreon.com, Game On with Jack, and please make sure you go to YouTube and subscribe. Check out those shorts, and all the podcasts should be up there. There may be one or two that are missing. The podcasts are up there. A lot of information you can't find anywhere else, but definitely subscribe. Let's get to 100 so I can change that name. You guys rock. Keep it sexy. Game on.